Kingsley Hall in the East End of London, Bromley by Bow.
Is there anything special happening today?
Yeah. It's difficult to know, isn't there? There's such chaos in the world today, and confusion. Trying to find your headway through it. This is the building that Gandhi stayed in.
So to his poplar home, where we leave this bizarre little man, whose coming has caused so much comment, complete with loincloth, spinning wheel and goat's milk.
And he had one goal direction of getting independence for India, home rule. And it would be good to aspire to his strengths, but we're faced with so many different dilemmas, and it's very difficult to find one way forward. I think if you go one way forward, it allows things to come together.
And this house has become known as a house of peace because of its link with Muriel Lester, who was the founder of Kingsley Hall, and she has been described as Mother of Peace. So let's hear from Raghavu.
Hello everyone, it's a really beautiful day, and I'm really glad to see so many people here. Has everybody seen the koinobori, the Japanese kites flying in the garden? Yeah, they're really wonderful, aren't they? They've been given by the Japanese embassy. Okay, so in Kingsley Hall, this is a community centre, of course, built by Doris and Muriel Lester in the 20s.
This is Miss Muriel Lester, who will look after Gandhi while he is in England.
When I heard he was coming here, I knew he'd rather be in Kingsley Hall than anywhere else. And as he said, in answer to my invitation, I would rather stay at Kingsley Hall, Bow, than anywhere else, because then I shall be among the same sort of people as those to whom I have devoted my life.
They built it to serve the local community as well as the global community, which it did very well, and it appears to be doing that with renewed gusto.
I don't know, we're just peace fairies. We're just coming in peace to promote a good community, positivity and light and all that.
What had happened in the First World War, and trying to bring in the understanding of pacifism.
You cannot bring democracy by common people.
He swayed millions of people. He was a great spiritual figure. His 4 a.m. prayers every morning, etc., etc. But what I loved about Bapu was that he was a pragmatist. He was a practical man.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people doesn't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people doesn't stop.
Whatever the result of the mission that brought me to London, I know that I shall carry with me the pleasantest memories of my stay in the midst of the poor people of East London.
Gandhiji became, for me, my first great semi-contemporary hero when I read a piece in a biography of his about him when he was in South Africa, when he was walking along the pavement with a fellow Indian, and towards him came 2 white South Africans, and Gandhiji and his colleague, as was accepted, stepped into the gutter to allow the two white South Africans to walk down the pavement. And when Gandhiji looked after them, he turned to his colleague and he said, "You know, I am always amazed that men should feel themselves honored by the humiliation of their fellow human beings." Great joy of knowing Mandela, and both in Mandela's office and indeed in his home there is one person's major photograph, and it is Gandhiji. Gandhiji has in many ways, it seems to me, changed the face of the world that we live in. Nothing like to the extent that he would have wished. But by God, with incredible courage, he stood up against all that was evil in colonialism and the building of empire.
America didn't teach me a damn thing, so we have to use what we've got. We can't all stay in the same horizon to create the change. So change is really scary. There was a guy collecting crabs in a bucket. He put one in his pocket, and then when he found the second crab, he put the second one in the bucket and put the first one in the bucket. And the guy said, "Why didn't you, when you caught the first crab, put it in the bucket?" He said, "When you put the first crab in the bucket and then put the second crab in the bucket, what happens is the first crab pulls the second one back out when it's trying to escape." How do we encourage each other to see a new horizon? How do we do that? It's not easy. In a real sense of all life, all real life is interrelated. All men and women are caught up in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can only be what I ought to be, and I can only do that when you're what you ought to be, and you only can be what you ought to be when I'm who I ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality. So I can't do it alone. But you can't do it alone. Otherwise there won't be a transformational relationship. Everyone shouts off this word transformational relationship, where things change. But that can't happen if I do it with you, you do it with me, and we do it together. So change is really scary, it really is. But outreach is about openings, and this is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create an opening for things to happen. We really are. So I'm hoping that people haven't come here today to see whose side they're on. Because we're taking this gate and we're opening it so there is no side.
Can the kids come down here now so that everyone can see? Thank you very much for doing that. There you go. Can everybody see what's going on here? Tell us when it's off and we'll have a good old shout. It's off. So, which way does the gate open? Does it come this way or that way? This way. This way, okay. So, can you swing it open? Joy, can you help swing it open? This way it comes.
Which afforded him an opportunity to see the best side of human nature and lent support to his belief that at the bottom there was neither east nor west, came to an end.
And that is what I love about Kingsley Hall. Also, a totally practical organization. It stands for, as Mandela says, the Rainbow Nation. It stands for all dignity of all men, women, children, under any circumstances, from anywhere in the world.
Gandhiji to us meant everything. He's the father of our nation. He's a symbol of our freedom. His vision has inspired generations of our leaders. His spirit and philosophy is very much, is what has really guided our constitution, and it guides our objectives. I think Gandhiji would be happy to see a lot that has happened in India, but I think he would also have liked us to go to the end of the road, which is really, if I may recite a small thing, it is Sarve Santu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramya. A peace for everyone, and let everyone be without disease.
In the crown of the feather.
Where are we right now?
Kingsley Hall in the East End of London, Bromley by Bow.
Is there anything special happening today?
Yeah. And it would be good to aspire to his strengths, but we're faced with so many different dilemmas, and it's very difficult to find one way forward. I think if you go one way forward, it allows things to come together. But, it's difficult to know, isn't there? There's such chaos in the world today, and confusion. Trying to find your headway through it. This is the building that Gandhi stayed in.
So to his poplar home, where we leave this bizarre little man, whose coming has caused so much comment, complete with loincloth, spinning wheel and goat's milk.
And he had one goal direction of getting independence for India, home rule.